Here I am just now getting on live on my YouTube channel. So we are simulcasting on Instagram and YouTube. If you are on Instagram and you want to come on over and see the cards, because we got card cam on YouTube, come on over. So I want to say thank you to everyone joining us on Instagram. Marcy, Betty, Robin Renee, so nice to see you. Glad you're here. And I want to say thank you to everyone on YouTube. So it's Thursday. That means it is time for our Tarot Topics Weekly Newsletter recap. The Tarot Topics Weekly Newsletter comes into your inbox on Wednesday, but only if you subscribe. If you are not subscribing to Tarot Topics, you can go right to my website, christianagodet.com, and subscribe and read this week's newsletter. Then every Thursday at noon Eastern Time, I come on live on YouTube and very often simulcasting on Instagram to talk about the newsletter topic. So this week, our topic is imperfection. And I was really inspired. I don't know. I was just like hanging out and song comes on and it's that John Legend song, All of Me. I know. It's a really cheesy song, but it's pretty. It is. And that line, I love your perfect imperfections. And I was thinking about how when it comes to love, whether we're talking about self-love or love for a friend or love for a romantic partner, it's not so much that we love in spite of their issues, in spite of their problems. In a lot of ways, love is like we find people's flaws endearing, right? That's love. And let me just interrupt that thought to welcome Leftscape. Nice to see you on Instagram. And over here on YouTube, Lisa, thank you very much for the very generous super chat, super sticker. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. So grateful. So, and I recognize that when I say, well, we love people because of their flaws. We love ourselves because of our flaws. We love our friends, our romantic partners because of their flaws. That does leave a lot of room for tolerance of abuse. And I think that's like one of the issues is like, how do we recognize the difference between like, this is a character flaw I can live with, this is a character flaw I can't live with, right? That's the whole process. And so often at the tarot table, that's what we're dealing with, is this abuse or is this, just a character flaw that we can find endearing, right? So then when we talk about perfectionism, there is this larger thing where we tend to hold ourselves accountable for perfection when in fact we ourselves are imperfect. And sometimes that's a trauma response, right? That I have to be perfect or people will not love me. And that's a space where we really need to find healing. And yet there are also situations in life where we really do need to be perfect. And let me interrupt that thought to say thank you so much to Katie Kondo for the very generous super sticker. And I have to say, Katie and Lisa, who have helped out with super stickers so far today, are both members of this channel. And so they help out with a monthly contribution as well, and that's really appreciated. And I want to say thank you to all the members here, and you can tell who the members are because their names are in green. Membership, super chats, super stickers, these are all ways you can support this channel. You can also support this channel by liking this video, by subscribing if you haven't done so already, and by checking out all the events we have coming up. Now, I'm going to get back to my thought in a moment, but I just want to say for members, we have a members only live stream tonight. We're doing tarot and chakras. And so I just want to make sure you remember that. Find the link for it tonight, 7 p.m. If you are a member on my YouTube channel, please do plan on joining us for an hour-long live stream, a class where we're going to do readings. I'm going to teach you how to do chakra readings. I'm going to do chakra readings for you. And that's a members-only live stream. So if you're not a member and you were thinking about becoming a member, good time to do it today before 7 p.m. All right. So back to this comment, this thought about how sometimes perfection is needed. Sometimes perfectionism is needed. So if I'm having surgery, I damn well want my surgeon to be a perfectionist. If I'm getting my hair done, I would like my stylist to be a perfectionist. And I think there are times when we know that perfection is what is necessary, and we channel this sort of divine guidance. You know, when you say everything went perfectly, I did everything perfectly, oh my gosh, I was in the zone. That zone comes from something higher. We recognize divinity is perfect, we're not. And so if we are in this space of finding divinity, of acknowledging divinity, of trying to be in that place of perfection, it is divinity that takes us there, I believe. And then how does this all relate to tarot? Well, my favorite card for perfection, there's actually two. In the newsletter, I wrote about the High Priestess. My two favorite cards for perfection have to do the High Priestess and Temperance. The High Priestess can really be about seeking perfectionism and finding that perfect beauty, perfect balance, perfect truth, perfect wisdom. And Temperance, which says, ain't nothing perfect. But if you take a little of this and a little of that and you blend it together, you can find the perfect blend. So today, whether you're coming in on Instagram or YouTube, I am very happy to take your questions having to do with perfectionism. Are you in a relationship where you're tolerating a lot of stuff and you're wondering, am I just loving their perfect imperfections, or, should I really skedaddle? These are the sort of questions I want to take today, and I see a lot of those questions already here. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for being here. And if you're coming in on Instagram and you want to be able to see the cards, come on over to YouTube, Christiana Gaudet Tarot on YouTube. And I see a lot of conversations going on between people here regarding their own issues around perfectionism. So let's go. I'll take these from the top. As you can see, I am working with Robin Wood Tarot. And Smile Soul 20, so nice to see you. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for being a member. The first question I see here is from Jeannie Mnuchin. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. As someone who has worked hard without much recognition, I find it affects my confidence, especially around people who have more status in the arts. How can I overcome these insecurities, and will I eventually be recognized for my work, and when? I find it painful to feel like I'm always starting out and to not take it as a failure, which I don't think it is. It's so hard, man. It is so hard. I think there's a lot of us, you've got some people chiming in saying, oh my gosh, I feel that. I think there's a lot of us who feel that, for sure. So on my YouTube channel right now, simulcasting on Instagram, feel free to ask a question on Instagram or to come on over to YouTube, Christiana Gaudet Tarot on YouTube, where you can see the cards. All right, so the first question, Jeannie, how can you overcome the insecurities that have come from lack of recognition for the work that you do? It's hard. It's really, really hard. And the thing you have to recognize is there is recognition. The recognition may not be in the size or form that you want, but there is recognition. Hang on to the recognition that is there. See the recognition that is there. Don't focus on what's not there. Focus on what is there, and it is there. And will you get to a place of gaining better recognition? Oh man, there's that high priestess who is so, she's so seasonally appropriate at this time of the autumnal equinox. The high priestess, of course, is the archetype of Persephone, and so very appropriate mythologically for this day and this time. And in fact, Betty, I'm talking to you, Betty. I'm not sure if you're here. I think you're in both places on Instagram and YouTube. You had asked for us to do a live around the equinox, and I just couldn't get it into my schedule, and I'm so sorry. I saw your request, though, and I'm going to try to do something recorded just to go over some of the cards associated with this time and things of that nature. So I saw your request, and I'm sorry I'm not fulfilling it this time around, but I'll try to next time. All right, so back to Jeannie's question. The thing is, because there is this whole history of feeling unseen and feeling unheard, and that may go back to childhood, feeling unrecognized, I feel like any amount of recognition you would still be looking at, well, I wasn't recognized here and I wasn't recognized there. And that is not to invalidate what you're feeling. It is to say that what you have to do is you have to recognize yourself. The whole issue here, Jeannie, and it's a vicious cycle because the lack of recognition makes you insecure. The insecurity makes you feel like you're not recognizing yourself. The not recognizing yourself makes you sad, makes you feel, guess what? Unseen, unheard, unrecognized, and makes it harder for you to get the recognition you're looking for. So the answer is you must recognize yourself. You must see yourself. You must hear yourself. You must recognize the value of what you're doing. And the more that you do that, through all of that, it looked like I was frozen in kind of a weird facial shape, but hey, that happens. All right. So I hope that's helpful, Jeannie. Self-recognition is what's needed, and that's what you were not taught when you were a child. You were not taught to recognize what is good within yourself in the way that you need to, I think. All right. Mix you ear, Michelle, so nice to see you. Generally, who or what am I seeing is imperfect, but actually perfect for me? Is there, I love that question. Is there something, someone, a situation that is exactly what I need right now that I could be judging too harshly? Oh my gosh, what a beautiful question. That is brilliant. And the answer is your own possibilities and your own future. I think what you are judging too harshly is your own abilities, your own possibilities, your own avenues, your own opportunities. That's what I think. Okay. All right, so the next question I see is from Madiha Ness. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for being a member here. And great newsletter as usual, thank you. So where should I stop? Where should I go on? That's a reference specifically to the reading I put in the newsletter, the spread, which is like, is there a place where you really have to keep working toward perfection? Or is there a place where like it's good enough? When is good enough good enough? What do you have to keep striving for? And those are the questions you're asking. Where in my life, what am I working for that I have to keep trying to perfect? And where is good enough in your life right now? So what do you need to keep trying to perfect your own happiness as you cultivate your experience on the planet? Seriously. That is a work in progress for you, for me, for all of us. And where is good enough in your life? Well, the walls didn't tumble down today. I guess we're doing okay. There's something here about recognizing that, in sort of Western culture, success is viewed as like not living hand to mouth, as feeling some sense of financial security and security in our home. And, if you have that security, you're successful. If you don't, you're not. I'm here to tell you, and I'm specifically here to tell you because of this card, Madiha, but I think this is true for all of us. Are you breathing? Is your skin still on? Did you eat today? You planning on eating? Are your kids eating? That's success. Seriously. Lisa Harmon, so nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being a member here, and thank you so much for the super sticker. Only recently have I been seeing my imperfections as stepping stones to what is perfect for me. Oh, so well said. I love that. I love that. And one of those stepping stones is accepting that how others see me may not be me at all. Oh my gosh. And we are not responsible for that. Oh my gosh, we are not responsible for how others see us. Oh my gosh, that is so fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing that. Really appreciate that. Okay. And Betty Flesher, so nice to seeing you. So nice to seeing you. There's my imperfect English right there. Betty, thank you for being a member here. Thanks for using a members only emoji. Why am I such a perfectionist? Is it being Aquarius with Capricorn moon? That's part of it. Or just personality and wanting things to be perfect. So the thing is, perfectionism is also a trauma response. So how much of it is astrology? That's part of it. How much of it is personality? Yeah, maybe some of it. How much of it is response to trauma? Ba-da-da, ding, 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 we've got a winner. Betty, part of it is this feeling that you're not loved, that you're not good enough. If you're not perfect, you're not good enough. That's what it is to some extent. This is a trauma response. And I think you have to kind of do the meditative and spiritual work to try to release that, to recognize you are good enough exactly as you are. But, you know, the astrological chart does contribute. All right, Lisa Harmon, here's your question. What and or how do I know what is perfect for me? Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Ah, I love that. Very good. Okay, let's take a look. And thanks for the garlic. Oh, that's baby cakes. Garlic from baby cakes. I see it. Okay. And before I answer your question, Lisa, I just want to acknowledge Super Chat from Kathy Humphrey. So nice to see you. Thanks for being here. And Kathy, as you know on this channel, we do different kinds of questions on each live. And today we're talking about perfection and imperfection. So please do phrase a question around that. All right. So, coming back to your question, Lisa, how do I know what is perfect for me? Right? It's a great question. You know, it's that part of you on the inside that is like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I haven't done this well enough. I'm not good enough. And other people are going to see that I'm not good enough. And you have been working so hard to get away from that, to get outside of that. And you're doing a good job, but that's really what you're fighting against. You know, and basically, for you, it's very mood driven. It is very, very mood driven, whether you're feeling in the flow of things and everything is flowing along fine and you're doing fine and everything else is doing fine, or whether you're not enough, running to catch up. So breathe. It's not a matter of this or that. This is better. This is not better. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of your energy and your mood and being in that space. That's really what it is. Was that helpful? I don't think I answered your question, but you know, let me know if you need clarification or whatever, you let me know, all right? Baby cakes, thank you for the garlic. How do I forgive myself past imperfections? Great questions. And mistakes. How do I forgive myself every day imperfections or mistake without beating myself up for them? Oh my gosh, man, and those ones from the past, you know, at 3:00 in the morning. Why did I say that stupid thing on that particular day in 3rd grade? Right? We all do this to some extent. So I think this is an important question for everyone. But the answer for you, baby cakes, you need to recognize that every day in every way, you are doing the best that you can and better every day. And that's got to be good enough. And, it's got to be, I did the best I could with what I knew, with what I had available to me right then. Time, money, energy, knowledge. I did the best I could. Do I wish it might have been better? Of course. But in that moment, it was the best I could do, and I have to give myself that grace. And grace is the word. That is what it is. Seriously. All right. Here we go. Nalini, so nice to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a member here. We appreciate you. How can I let go of my imperfections and fully embrace yourself? Fully embrace myself? Well, I think the key here really is letting go of the upset about imperfection and letting go of perfectionism. How do you let go of perfectionism and fully embrace yourself? Oh my gosh, this is a huge journey for you, Nalini. I think it is for a lot of us. This is hitting on some very deep stuff for a lot of people here. And I think the thing is, it's a chicken and egg question. Maybe you have to, how do you accept your imperfections so that you can love yourself? But then maybe the answer is you have to love yourself so you can accept your imperfections. Maybe that's what's really coming up. You just have to step forward in love for yourself so that you can accept the fact that you are imperfect as all humans are. You are not a less perfect human than the rest of us. And I think sometimes you do think that. You do think that perhaps you are a less perfect human than the rest of us. So I think you have to disabuse yourself of that notion. But there is something about just loving yourself. Hey, Arlette, nice to see you. Kathy, nice to see you. Thanks for being a member here. Samantha, nice to see you. Samantha, how should I begin to work on my best imperfection in my love life, right? Right? Being the best you can be in your love life and letting that be okay. And again, man, you saw me shuffle, but it keeps coming up. You got to love yourself at the end of the day. Loving yourself, when we talk about your love life starts with loving yourself. And when we talk about loving others, that's really important. But in order to do that, you have to love yourself, accept your own imperfections. And this is where, that whole relationship thing is, am I just accepting this person's imperfections and loving them? Or is this person freaking abusive and needs to go? Well, if you love yourself first, that's the answer to that quandary. Because if you love yourself first, you will say, well, yeah, I see that character flaw and I love that person. Or that's freaking abusive and I love myself too much to allow that. And that's the answer for you, and I think it's the answer for all of us. So at this point, I'm going to sign off on Instagram. And if you want to continue with this, you come right on over to YouTube. Christiana Gaudet Tarot on YouTube. We'll see you there. Thank you so much. All right. All right. Let's see. The next question. Jackie Masters, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member here. How do my imperfections affect my life, and how can I use them to make my life better? Why am I so disappointed when my friends do not live up to what I see as their potential? And then you say, what are my imperfections? You just said it. Your biggest imperfection is sort of this idea of how your friends should be. Right? You just said it. Let's do a reading on this. But man, it is exactly that. It is exactly you being the arbiter of what your friends are capable of or are not capable of and what they should or should not be doing. Putting yourself in that position, that is the imperfection that I think is causing you a lot of grief. And when you say, well, why does that disappoint me? That's the question. Why do you do that? Why do you put yourself in that position? I think it was done to you. I think in the household you grew up in, that was done to you. That kind of, advice/criticism, that sense of disappointment, I think that was all done to you. And so to you, that feels like love. But that's not how love best expresses itself. So I think that's a healing that you need. And what can you do to make your life better? I think it is about recognizing that this topic is particularly poignant for you, Jackie G. Masters, because I think a certain perfection was required of you, which caused you to require it of yourself, which caused you to require it of others. So this is not naturally, we're just naturally perfectionistic, or it's in your astrology chart or whatever. I think this has to do with how you were raised. And I know that you are loved. This is not suggesting that you are not loved. Everyone did what they did in your best interest, the best way they knew how, but it has caused a problem. And so in a way, you need to reparent yourself, allowing room and grace for your humanity. Let me know what you think of that. Caroline McLaughlin, nice to see you. My question is, how can I help myself from having everything to perfection before undertaking many things? I feel like this really holds me back in many ways. Oh my gosh, I know that one. Well, I can't do this until I do this, and I can't finish this until it's perfect, and it's not perfect, so now I can't do anything. Yeah, we all do this. Not we all, but a lot of us do this, and it's not pretty. Not at all. So for you, Caroline, how do you fix this? You have to hold space for some things being undone. You have to hold space for the idea that you can start new things while things are undone. And you have to hold space for the idea that perfect and finished are two different things. And it's okay for something to be finished but not yet perfect. So it's like changing your list of affirmations around all of this so you can move forward, because it's building up on you and it's causing a lot of frustration. Okay, let me know what you think about that. In the country is the next question I see. In my work life, accept the perfections of those I work with or strive for something different, right? I feel like maybe both. Accept what it is for now, but also look for something better, because the current situation is problematic. So accept it for now, but look for something better. And Betty Flesher, sometimes a crooked smile or a scar is perfect. Right? Right? Febborn, should I get out of this imperfect friendship with DA? It's up to you. I could make an argument either way. It's up to you. I think there are things to learn, but we have to recognize, the question is not, should you get out? Ultimately, you're going to have to, Febborn. You're going to have to. The question is there value now and you get out later, or should you just get out? That's really the question. I think there is some value now as long as you keep your expectations low. But in the long run, you're going to end up having to get out. And you can see it already. Hey, Teresa C., nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for being a moderator. Gemini Sun, so nice to see you. Thanks for being a moderator. How can I view my imperfections as the gold cracks in the pottery? Yes, yes. I am having a difficult time doing this. I love that practice and example. Yes, thank you for reading the newsletter. All right. So how can you view your imperfections that way? By recognizing that it's part of survivorship. When we look at, and what she's referring to is something I wrote about in the newsletter. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's the Japanese art of fixing broken pottery with gold so that you can see the gold. You're not trying to make it seamless. You're seeing the imperfection, and it's beautiful. It's filled with gold. And I think that when we look at that in your life, The key is the survivorship, that once the pottery is fixed, we can now use it again, that you are surviving. That's one of the reasons that I'm not doing anything to fix my wrinkles and gray hair, is every one of those things I freaking earned. That's my survivorship. And I think that, recognizing that it's survivorship, it is being beautiful and strong and getting through and living to tell the story is the important piece here. That's what I think. Let me know what you think. All right. Here we go. Oh, okay, Madiha, thank you for that feedback. Very good. Raquel Revelta, Art and More, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members and emojis for all those moments of insecurities. How can I embrace my imperfections and feel confident in what I'm doing? Yeah, that is a great question. Oh my gosh. So Raquel, what this turns into for you is anxiety, plain and simple. Name it as such. Say, I'm feeling anxious. And once you call it that, anxiety is not you. It's not within you. It's outside of you. It's something outside of you coming in, trying to get your attention. So once you claim it as anxiety, you can say, and now get out of my way and let me get on about my business. So you have a moment of insecurity based on something where you feel you're not good enough. You acknowledge it as anxiety, something outside of yourself. And then you can move it out of your way and keep on going. Lisa, it does make sense. Good. Okay, Kathy, I think you sort of did it. Kathy Humphrey, once again, thank you for the super chat. Is my burglar stalker the perfect criminal so he will never be caught? I think a lot of this has to do with your perception of it. I feel like if you could perceive it differently and kind of move on, that would be the best way for you and for everybody. Hey, Baradermi Tarot, nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member here. Denise Wood says, we are all perfectly imperfect. All right. And Nalini, thank you for that feedback. I'm glad that landed for you. Teresa C., once again, thanks for being a moderator. Thanks for being a member. I recently heard perfectionism is a form of procrastination. Yes. And it really changed my perspective on my own tendency toward perfection and how it can... Because, I was stuck for a minute there, so I hope you heard that. So I was talking about this comment from Teresa, which makes so much sense. Perfectionism as procrastination. Think about that. That will help, especially for you, Caroline. I think that will really help. Okay. Martha Vink, nice to see you. How can I become more patient with my imperfections and... I just overscrolled. Hang on. And those are the people around me and pets. Right. Patience is important with ourselves and with others. Yep. I think, Martha, it's a matter of, really leaning into love and really leaning into the idea from a very spiritual perspective. We are as a higher power made us. And just leaning into the love for that higher power and for the creation of that higher power. I really do. I think it's leaning into the love. Oh, good. Caroline, thanks for the feedback there. Arlette, so nice to see you. Really nervous about surgery. How does perfection and imperfection play a part? And how is this affecting Chris and my relationship? I feel like surgery is the start of the end of the marriage. Well, only if you want it to be. You don't have to put it in that light unless you want it to be. And, the whole thing, this is surgery to give you a healthier body size. That's what this is all about. And we live in a society where part of our perfectionism is about how we present and the size of our body and our perfect health and all of that good stuff. Now, the other thing, we want your surgeon to be perfect. We want the surgery to go perfectly. When we look, though, at your relationship with Chris, I feel like this is bringing up a huge amount of insecurity for both of you. What is happening here is as you approach this surgery, it is pulling back the veneer on the relationship and causing your insecurity and his insecurity to show up. And some of that does have to do with body size. Some of it doesn't. But this thought that you both have of if you're a different body size, how does that change things? And it's a really interesting question, but I think what you both have to do is just be really vulnerable for your insecurities. And insecurities are imperfections, and insecurities are about imperfections. And I think you just have to be vulnerable to those and speak what's on your mind in the most loving, most real way possible. That's really the key. Oh, Jackie, thanks for that feedback. Mediha, I would love to see pictures of your ceramic work. Oh my gosh. Barrett Hermy, hashtag oh dear. Oh, Betty, thank you so much for sharing this. Not to get too personal, but I have scars from double mastectomy, and my husband says they're badges of honor. Oh my gosh. I didn't know this about you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I love your husband for seeing it that way. And thank you for sharing that part of your journey. That's really beautiful. Oh, Jeannie, this is beautiful. The gold in the pottery is also about me seeing the gold in the learning and compassion that comes when you create beauty from what is broken. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Barrett Hermy Tarot. So I'm going to make this question fit, right? How is this weekend going to go for me? Will it be perfect or imperfect? What will the perfections or imperfections be? Okay. Okay, Barrett, be prepared for missed connections. Be prepared for things going slower than you want. Be prepared for things not going the way you want them to, but to be perfect nonetheless, and allow space for that. Allow it to go different than expected, but still perfect. Oh, baby cakes. In the newsletter, when we talk about astrological influences, I'm looking at you, Virgos and Capricorns, right? Which tend to be the two most perfectionistic signs. Third being Scorpio, my own sign. You're going to write this and keep it in your wallet. I love this. I did my best with the knowledge and resources I had. Right? Right? And Martha, I like that phrase, leaning into love. Yep. All right, my friends, I have come to the end of our, what I see as the end of our questions. If I've accidentally missed someone, please let me know. I'm so sorry, I never intend to. If you haven't yet asked a question but want to, please do. It's last call for readings, y'all. I will, of course, be back tomorrow at noon with the Friday Weekly Wrap-Up. But I want to remind all the members, 7 p.m. tonight, Tarot and Chakras. The link is up. I'll put it up in the in our Facebook group, the Global Tarot Circle Facebook group as well. I'll also put it up in the community thread. It's already there, but I'll put it up again. Arlette, I think we're having a hard time with the saying it lovingly part, right? I know that's hard, but that's what we have to work on. We all do. We all do. So members, join me tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so very much. I will look forward to seeing you tonight. Thank you everyone for being here. Thanks to the members, the moderators. Thanks to everyone who's helped out with super chats and super stickers. Members, I'll see you tonight. Everyone else, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Take good care.